Welcome into the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us today, man. We've got a lot of stuff to get into today. The coaching carousel, yeah, it's turning, and like we got to figure out who's going to go where. There are a couple of big jobs that are out there. One of them being, of course, LSU, and the other one being Southern Cal. At one point, we thought Southern Cal was like a top tier job, but I guess, I don't know. Do you really consider Southern Cal a top tier job? No, I don't know about that. We'll get into that later on. Who should be coach of the year in the ACC and the SEC? We'll get into that. Also, Nick Saban talked about retirement as his birthday is coming upon us here during the bye week. So we'll get into that too. Harrison Bailey, you know who he is. If you're a Tennessee fan, you know who he is. He hit the transfer portal. Why that's a big deal. We'll talk about that. The college bowl season is upon us, but there's a group that is putting out a message that I don't like. We'll also look at an advanced outlook for the Clemson and Florida State matchup for this weekend. And someone wants to rename the bullpen in baseball. We'll get into all of that, but I want to start with the bowl season. There's a group that is against using campus sites for the expanded college football playoff. So from ESPN, bowl season executives who oversee the operation of the bowl games sent a letter this week to hundreds of leaders in college football asking that any future college football playoff games in potential expansion models be held at bowl sites instead of on campus, according to a copy of the letter obtained by ESPN. Why is it that we want to take the college game away from the college site? I don't understand that. I mean, I guess it's a complete money grab thing, but the reality is, if we're going to expand the college football playoff, which we've talked about the college football season this year and how we may end up with the college football playoff committee having to put some answers out there that they don't want to put out there. But in the end, if we expand to the college football playoff where we have 8 teams or 12 teams or whatever, the reality is that why not have some of those games on campus? Wouldn't that make some sense? And hey, if you're a higher seed, it helps to be seated higher because you get a game on campus. Why not do that? I just don't understand. The big thing with that is it comes down to, I guess, money. And money, once again, can ruin some things. All right, let's go out to the phones, 803-978-1832. You're welcome to call the show as you wish. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, not in favor of expanding the playoffs at all.
Okay. Well, I get that, and you can have your whatever way you want to go on that, but the reality is that if we do, wouldn't you like to see those games on campus, or do you think they should be at a bowl site?
I think they should be at a bowl site.
All right, explain why.
Well, I think the bowls have some history behind them, and I think you're just going to kill off all the bowls if you don't do that.
Aren't we killing the bowls anyway with the playoff? I mean, do they
We
really
are.
matter?
I mean, they matter to certain teams. I mean, they matter to certain conferences. But I think if, the expanding the playoffs, I mean, I don't know what are you going to do. They're going to realign college football.
Right.
I just don't get it. Do we want to see Cincinnati host a home game? No.
We've talked about that, about Cincinnati being in the playoffs this year, but if they earn a home game, then yeah, if they earn it, but who knows? And that's the thing too. Certain stadiums will not be able to hold, have the capacity to hold some of these things. I can see that as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a small school in, I mean, you're going to go and sit between 40,000 people.
Well, for college baseball, and I know it's a completely different animal, but they use regional sites where they pick, a campus site. So, I mean, I think that in the grand scheme of things, it could work, but maybe maybe it's just a little bit too big there with on the football front.
Well, my thing is, why kill college football? It's great the way it is. I mean, I could even lose the playoff altogether and go back to the who's ever wanted to.
Yeah, but those are I get that, but
We're never going back there. I understand
no,
we're
we're
never
not
going
going
back
back
there.
there. But you know, I don't like the idea of sports writers and stuff like that determining who the national championship is, because some of them could have bias, and I truly believe that.
Yeah, but there's so many writers now. Everybody's got a blog and everybody's got a vlog, and there's who knows who's even voting on this stuff anymore. But yeah, I just don't like the playoffs. I certainly don't want to see it expanded anytime soon. I mean, the top four teams are the top four teams. I mean, I don't think anybody can argue since we started this that some team got left out that absolutely should have been in.
Fair enough. I agree with you on that.
Nobody's got that argument. I mean, nobody can say we should have been in there and we didn't get it. We were robbed. I mean, I know Texas A&M fans are saying that, but they had their shot.
Yeah, you got to win your conference. I think I stand firmly behind that. If you don't win your conference, you shouldn't be in the college football playoff. But that's a completely different story.
Do you see Alabama getting in? I don't see Alabama getting in. I see them losing another game this year.
Alabama will get in if they beat Georgia in the SEC championship game.
But does Alabama and Texas A&M aren't they tied?
No, Texas A&M has 2 losses.
Texas have 2 losses.
Yeah.
So if Alabama loses another game, they're not even getting to the SEC championship.
Well, and here's the thing with that. If Alabama loses another game and Ole Miss wins out, then Ole Miss will go to the SEC championship game. So there's that.
There's all kinds of things. But, hey, Wake Forest is having a great season, ranked 13 or 14. Good for Dave Clawson.
Why somebody hasn't hired him, I don't understand. I think he's too smart. I think that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, but that team has played really well. They've earned it.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you calling the program, buddy. Thank you so much.
Brother, thank you.
All right, let's head back out to the phones and welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hi, is this Dime Store Danny Cannell?
I'm sorry, what?
Rob, you pudgy ACC homer. Let me educate you for just a second, if you will.
Sir. What? Hold on now. Let's be respectful of each other. What have I said to you that's hurt your feelings today?
I got to think.
What has got your tampon crossed, sir? I don't understand.
My tampon is my business, but beside that, I've listened to you all year, which is a huge mistake, obviously, because if you will visit that bookcase of accountability, you've been wrong on just about everything.
Please do not make me go to the bookcase of accountability and bring up your file on Stetson Bennett IV, because that will not look well for you, sir.
You've said pretty much the same thing, by the way. But let me. The point I want to make here is you had me doubting my own team, which is my fault. That was some ignorance on my part for even tuning in and for listening.
How did I have you doubting your own team? I said, if we're talking about the Florida matchup, I said Georgia's going to win. I think I can put my pick out there earlier this week. I think they're winning 30-10 this weekend. So if that's the case, then that's your fault. I can't help that you're silly.
It's amazing. You are a spin doctor. That musical group from the early 90s, you must be in love with him because you are a true spin doctor.
I don't understand. What am I spinning? I said you're going to win 30-10. How is that spinning, sir? I'll wait.
Not this game, every other game. And you keep saying that Kirby's going to blow it at some point. But here's the thing. Yes, I kind of early on, I doubted that Florida-Georgia game.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I did doubt that Florida-Georgia game. But here's the thing. Mark Richt is no longer in charge of this team, and that's the bottom line. And I know all of our rivals seem to love Mark Richt because he was a great guy, and you used to beat him regularly. So
I mean, Mark Richt had a pretty good winning percentage, and
not against Florida.
He's a man of God. I'm not going to go against the guy that's trying to bring faith to people, sir. Do you not like Jesus? What's wrong with you?
Well, so is Dabo. He baptizes your players, and then he pumps them full of steroids shortly thereafter. But
that's allegedly.
That's beside the point. Allegedly, yeah, okay. But here's the deal. Moral victories don't win national titles. Hard-nosed hard-nosed coaches like the one we got now do.
Okay.
And your coach or Nick Saban had won 0 national titles after 5 years of their first 5 years of head coaching jobs. And we got this guy now who is in charge, and he is blasting his way through the SEC, regardless of ridiculous injuries, which he has no control over. And you keep waiting for him to fail and waiting for him to fail, waiting for him to fail as he blows out team after team after team, Rob. And much to your dismay, he's going to go into Jacksonville and absolutely annihilate this joke of a team coached by a clown of a coach. Do you understand that? Hollywood.
I completely understand that. But first of all, a couple of things on that. I said that you would win 30-10 this weekend. And bless your heart for thinking that I care so much. You are so sweet. You really are. Bless your sweet little heart. Anything else?
You want to elaborate on that?
I'm just
Why
saying,
do I have a sweet?
You bless your sweet little heart for thinking that I care so much.
Oh, so now you don't care. After you told, if you'll visit that bookcase of accountability, you told me that Clemson was going to ruin my college football season before Labor Day. Here we are in
you're
week 8.
Absolutely
We're
right.
still
and
undefeated.
I said after week 3 that Clemson was absolute dog poo on offense. And they have made me look stupid. They've made me look stupid all the way through the year. But the reality is that I've taken my medicine for that. And I've said point blank, Georgia's the best football team in the country. I don't know what else you want from me, sir. What else can I do for you to make you happy?
You know what? You're right. I should give you some credit on that. I am sorry about that.
I mean, what do I need to tell you every day that you're the absolute most beautiful football team in the entire world? Do you need that for your self-esteem? Do you need that?
And there you go again. You put down this team left and right, and then you say,
I'm not putting down the
somebody
team.
calls you.
Step back, sir. I'm not putting down the team. I'm putting down you. Because you seem to be the one that needs to be reassured that they're absolutely great all the time. You said yourself that I talked you into thinking that your team is bad. You are the one with self-esteem issues. It's not your team. Your team is outstanding. You are the problem, sir. You're like a Taylor Swift person, okay? Taylor Swift dates a guy, breaks up with him, comes out with another album. Maybe she's the problem. Maybe you're the problem, sir. Maybe that's what we're going on with here. I'm not the one making $100 bets for Florida and putting it out there that I'm doing that. I'm not doing that. No, sir. I said Georgia's the best team in the country, and until they prove me otherwise, I'm going to stand by that. Maybe you should get on that train.
First of all,
sure.
Don't you dare use Taylor Swift's name in vain. She is a musical genius,
she
sir.
She certainly is. She's a musical genius as long as she has been used by some guys so she can have an emotional spot there to write a game-changing album. You're absolutely right.
But you're an abusive boyfriend. You beat somebody up, and then when they say, "Oh, do you need assurance? Do you need people to tell you you're the most beautiful girl in the world?"
You need that?
Yeah, after you have verbally abused them for month after month after month.
You like hearing me say that I think Georgia's great. You like it. It's okay. You can admit that.
I know how much you despise it. But let me before I let you go.
Sure.
There's a guy in Jacksonville named Hollywood. Sir, I know you're listening, and I know you're going to respond to this, but here's the truth. Number 99 is going to come down there with a big stick, and he is going to beat every alligator in that cess-filled, just nasty, meth-induced, just swamp of a place called Jacksonville, and beat the dog crap out of the University of Florida and everybody who supports them. And you're going to be left handing. What are they going to go to? They're not eligible for the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl. I think that's an ACC. I don't know. I don't know who else.
That's an ACC-SEC matchup.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Well,
sir.
Maybe you know what? Maybe y'all should shoot for mayonnaise.
Shoot for mayonnaise.
That would be it. Yeah. I'm talking to Florida now.
Hey, can I ask you a favor though? The next time that you doubt your team and you're going to place $100 bets, I'm just going to give you my PayPal, and what we'll do is that you can send me whatever it is you decide to bet. And then I will only take a 50% stupidity fee, and then I will send you back half of your money with a note saying, don't doubt your team. I think that's what you should do. Do you need my PayPal address? I'll give that to you.
50% stupidity
yeah, because
fee.
You're going at 100% stupidity fee now, throwing away $100 betting on Florida this weekend. You literally burnt the money and then set it on fire. at the same time and just watched it go up into flames. That's what you did.
Yeah, when you said stupidity fee, I swear you've been talking to my mom. I just there's something going on here.
I will not talk about Mama Megan. That's not happening, sir. Good luck with that,
Rob. I love your show, son. 43-18, go Dogs, baby.
You should have said that from the start and just not taken the beating that you got today. But you have a great day, sir. Beg and Megan, always welcome here on the Rundown, right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. I was talking about the college football playoff and having stuff on site, and he's got to call up and be reassured that Georgia's great. I don't get it. I don't get it. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh with my 50% stupidity fee. Maybe I should go for 40%. I don't have to be greedy. I don't have to do that. I mean, in the end, he works out a lot better. If you'd have done that this week, he would have gotten $60 back in his pocket. I would have taken the $40 and I probably would have given it to charity in his name. We would have, we could have given it to a nice Florida charity. See, that's what I do here. Take 40% of what you're going to lose anyway, and we'll give it to a nice charity down in Florida in the name of Beg and Megan and the Georgia Bulldog fans. That way you beat them senseless on the field and you're still a giving heart. I'm serious. That's what I'm going to do from now on, especially with Georgia fans and Tennessee fans who get upset with me. Tennessee fans are crazy on Twitter this week about the Kentucky matchup next week. Some of them are at the point where like, we're going to beat Kentucky. And then some are thinking, maybe Kentucky's going to beat us. I don't know which way that's going to go. But if you're going to bet against your team, we'll do the 40% idiot fee. And then we'll go from there and we'll give it to a nice charity. It's not a big deal. We can do that. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Let's take a quick call before we go to break. Whoa, there we go. You got to stay on the phone, brother. 803-978-1832. Quick break. When we come back, we'll have more for you. This is The Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Randall, I think I personally think that Beg and Megan will show up regardless. So there's that. Yeah, he'll have 100. Jay with the win. I think that if they lost that game, Beg and Megan would be so mad. He would get the $100. He would rip up the ticket. Jay, that is some quick wit there, sir. Oof. Very good. Man, that's a mess. Oh. Sometimes you folks in the chat room are quick. I'll give you that. You know, I have to work pregame, Jerome, but I'm thinking about going down like for the first, I might go down for the first half. I got to be back to do postgame. Because I'm going to be in studio working, but. Yeah, you got to spell their name right, Jimmy. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. I have to share something that went on in the chat room, and you should be in the chat room too. Go find it. The Fox Sports Radio Facebook page is where the chat room is. Randall asked, what happens to Beg and Megan if Georgia loses this weekend? And Jay, quicker than a hiccup, says, I guess he'll have $100. Boom, 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 boom. I firmly believe that if if Florida were to pull off the monumental upset this weekend, first of all, Megan would still call. He would just be angry. And I think he would take that $100 bet slip and burn it. Or he might frame it. What he should do is send it to me and I'll frame it. We'll hang it up here in the studio on the bookcase of accountability. We will rename the bookcase of the accountability Megan's bet slip failure. That's what we'll do. I don't care. 803-978-1832. Tom with a comment online. You give Jalen Foster a chance to win the Jim Thorpe Award. He's a semifinalist. Kyle Groger is in it for the Ray Guy Award too. Yeah, I can see that. Foster's leading the country in interceptions. Why not? 803-978-1832. Back out to the phones. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Oh, yeah, good afternoon. You know, life is about choices, and I just wanted to congratulate you on your choice today to wear sleeves. Have a good morning.
It's afternoon, sir. Stop drinking. It's afternoon. Just make sure people understand that. It's like after 12 o'clock is when we have afternoon. So there's that too. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Appreciate folks calling the program. By the way, Harrison Bailey has entered the transfer portal at Tennessee. I think if you're at Tennessee, you may be happy about this because he was rated so highly. And now it's like you don't have to look back and say, you know what? Maybe is he over there looking over everybody's shoulder? I mean, it's always, what's Bailey going to do? He played in 6 games as a true freshman in 2020, but basically fell down the depth chart behind Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker. Now, Josh Heupel has been a guy that, he has the record of being a guy that puts together a good offense, but maybe the kind of offense that he puts together can't be run by a quarterback like Bailey. I don't know. But he is the highest graded 247 Sports composite quarterback to enter the transfer portal. And where's he going to end up? 803-978-1832. Hello to Shane Beamer. Here's a quarterback for you, sir. Go after him. You think he wouldn't like to come back and possibly stick it to Tennessee? If you're a competitor, you want to do that. Hey, I wasn't good enough to be here to be your quarterback, but I could hand you your butt somewhere else. If he's got that kind of mentality, that's what you want. Just saying. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call. If you'd like to join us here on The Rundown, right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400, around the world on the iHeart Radio app. I want to talk a little bit about coaches today. A couple of things. First of all, Nick Saban talked about retirement somewhat. He said he turned 70 on Sunday. His team is on a bye week. He was asked on the coaches conference call about his coaching future. And he said, I've got 10 more years, man. Think about that. Saban thinks he can coach till he's 80. I don't doubt it. He doesn't look like he's 70, by the way. Not that looks mean anything. You could be falling off the planet here. But he says he can coach for 10 more years. We'll see how that works out. Speaking of which, there are 2 big name coaching jobs that are out there. LSU, Southern Cal. There's also 2 jobs that I don't want to call them lower tier schools, but it's Washington State and Texas Tech. Those are Power 5 jobs that are out there too. You kind of got to be thinking about who's going to go where. And I think that LSU, the shoe will drop there first, I think. And then I think it's a ripple effect, and it'll go from there to who will go to Southern Cal and then right on down the line. Of course, Dabo Swinney, James Franklin, Mel Tucker, they've all been kind of on the denial front about it. Yeah, I don't want to go to LSU. I'm more focused on winning our next game, which is the typical canned answer that you're going to get from just about everyone. But do you think it's going to be one of those big name coaches that goes somewhere else? Do you think that's going to happen? Lots of folks are on the train of James Franklin leaving Penn State and going to LSU. Do you think he wants to go back to the SEC? He coached at Vanderbilt there before. Just saying. Got to figure that out and figure out who's going to take over that LSU job. Reading from an article from 247 Sports, LSU AD Scott Woodward has a track record of taking big swings with coaching hires. Chris Peterson at Washington, Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. And people are wondering what he's going to do next. Could Brian Kelly be a guy that's going to leave Notre Dame? And all the pageantry that's there at Notre Dame, and people still think that Notre Dame is just this crazy good job. I don't know if I'm buying that or not. If you gave me the choice between LSU and I can go coach there, or I can go coach at Notre Dame, I'm going to LSU. Do you know why? Because I'm the kind of person that is a competitor. I like the idea of competing. As I'm saying the same thing twice. But you know what? If I have to compete against that big bear, Nick Saban, I at least want to go and take a shot and see if I have the stones to do it. See if I can knock him off. If I'm at Notre Dame, think of it this way. You play that independent schedule, and you don't really get into a Power 5 schedule. I know they play some ACC teams, but you're not going to have on that schedule the opportunity to go and play against Alabama with Nick Saban there. If you're a coach and you are one of those guys that you're a leader of men, that's what you want. Just saying. That's kind of the way to go. And if Brian Kelly has that in him, and he's looking around and he's like, you know what? I can stay here at Notre Dame. That'd be great. Or I could go down there and I can bet on myself and go to LSU. I'm going to get paid a lot of money. That's not even an issue. Remember, they're giving, $17 million to Orgeron to basically not coach the team? Yeah, you're going to get paid to go down there. But you get that opportunity to go against Nick Saban. And if you have that opportunity, you should probably jump at it. You really should. Or you can be complacent and stay at Notre Dame. You can be complacent and stay at certain other spots. Randall says, Rob is finally admitting the SEC is better than the ACC. Apparently, Randall is not listening. Going against Nick Saban. Wherever Nick Saban's at, that's the king of college football right now. That's what it is. You don't get jacked to go and play against Arkansas. You don't get jacked to go and play against Mississippi State. No. You get jacked to go play against Nick Saban. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832 is the number to call. Jay with a comment. ACC had 5 ranked teams last year, 0 bowl wins. Look, on that front, bowl wins don't matter unless you win them, right? If you have a losing record as a conference, then it's no one cares about the bowl games. No one cares. I'll give you a good example on a bowl game. Last year, we'll use Georgia as an example here. Do you really think that Georgia was completely all in for their bowl game with Cincinnati? I mean, they were playing with basically their third string offensive line. That's why the game was closer than it should have been. Just a thought. Maybe bowl games don't matter. Maybe they do. We'll take calls on that as well at 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832 is the number to call. If you'd like to join us here on The Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. We've got other things to look into today. We're going to talk a little bit about, we've done our coaches stuff. We can talk about some coach of the year for the ACC and the SEC and from around the country. Gotta like what Ryan Day's doing up at Ohio State, able to rally that team after they lost to Oregon. Maybe I'm just a little bit, I don't really think about Mario Cristobal as much because we don't really get to see a lot of his games here on the East Coast, but Oregon's pretty good. Maybe that's in the mix too. We'll take a quick break when we come back. We'll also do, they have the advanced metrics out on the Clemson-Florida State game. We'll go over that and why I laughed openly at that. We'll do that when we come back here on The Rundown. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm at Rob Sounds Good. I do drop some, I dropped some language there, especially with the Braves games. We'll have more for you in a moment. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. How is it that I like Miracle Whip? What? I don't know about buying all that. Iced coffee. Holy crap. Yeah, good point there, Aaron. Actually, I'm drinking sugar-free Zoa. There's no, it says it's sugar-free, so there you go with that. There's that. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Let's head out to the phones. Hey, welcome to the Rundown.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, sir. I'm talking to you.
Oh, great. Yeah, listen, I think your logic is just a little flawed.
Sure.
About the fellow from North Carolina, Notre Dame, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I think he's smart enough to know not to take a job just because if you lose, you're going to get a big buyout. I think people at that caliber just don't think like that. And that the second part of the equation, that are you sitting down?
Sure.
I don't want you to get excited.
Okay, have at it.
All right. The next coach of LSU will be a minority. There is an absence of minority coaches in the SEC, and it's very obvious. And they have to be given a chance, and that's going to be the criteria for that coach that takes Orgeron's place. Now, that's my prediction. I know you can find a lot of reasons why I'm wrong and all that, but just when it happens, I want you to say that dumb Bill was right.
Well, fair enough on that, but I'm in the camp of I don't care what color you are. I just want you to.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
Right, but
nobody does.
Do you think that,
but the fact of the matter is, they are going to give the opportunity.
Sure.
They are going, and that's the name of the game: is opportunity will be given.
Sure. I just don't think that Scott Woodward is looking at something from the perspective of, hey, we should hire a minority to send a message to the SEC. I just
who's the president? Who's the president of the university?
I have to look. I know the athletic director, but yeah,
his name is Gates.
Sure. Okay.
Go look at their website.
Okay.
And see what it says. Diversity, opportunity. It's all over the place, and it has to be done. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying it in a derogatory sense.
Right.
I'm saying it has to be done, and they have the reason to do it first and to give someone the opportunity. And a lot of times you have to overlook the credentials in order to provide the opportunity to people.
Well, Bill, what I'm doing, and Beg and Megan mentioned this earlier, I have the bookcase of accountability, and I'm writing a note right now to put over there that Bill says on 10/28 that LSU will hire a minority coach, and I will give you credit if they do. How does that sound?
Did you? Oh yeah.
I'm gonna give you credit if they do. That I'm putting it on the bookcase of accountability.
But what does that mean? I mean, what's
That
the
means
prize?
that no, there's no prize. It's just going to be you were right. You were absolutely right. I don't think that I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we'll put it on the bookcase of accountability because it's something that I haven't thought about. That's all.
Yeah, no, I think so. Okay, and you've been very patient with me, and you let me talk over you, which says a lot for somebody in your slot, and that I appreciate.
Well, Bill, you're always welcome to call the program, sir.
Yeah, it's all about getting people. All of us out here have different thoughts, and you give us an opportunity to just lay it out there and let other people, whether it's right or wrong or whatever, at least say, that guy might have an idea or that guy is out to lunch.
Well, we'll find out. That's why we're putting it out there, man.
And that's what talk radio is all about, right?
You're right, sir. I appreciate you calling the show, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. I'm adding that to the bookcase of accountability because, to be completely honest, I never thought of that. When I think of LSU, I think they're going to hire the person they think can get them back to the point where they are doing what they did in 2019, where they're slapping around Alabama, slapping around Clemson and everybody else. If they think that they can hire whoever, whatever it is to get them back to that point, they're a proud fan base. And they want to win against Alabama and win the national title. That's the standard at LSU. And whoever can get them there, that's where they're going to go. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Randall says they may hire James Franklin, but that's not because he's black. Well, we'll see how that goes, man. Let's go back out to the phones. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, this is the Biscuit.
Hey, Biscuit, what's up?
Hey, listen, race should never be a criteria that you use to hire anyone for any job.
Right, that's what I said.
That's a Band-Aid fix to the real problem. If an administration or a school is not...
That's what I said. I said that. I said it shouldn't matter what color they are. I said
that.
Well,
I know, I'm responding to the caller.
Sure. All right, go ahead.
I mean, and I appreciate him. He seemed like a nice gentleman and very, very, very polished and articulate, but that's part of the problem. That mindset is part of the problem. That is a Band-Aid fix to the real problem. If an administration or a school is not hiring black people just because they're black, you gotta fix that. But you don't Band-Aid fixing it by requiring people to hire someone based just purely on their race. It's ridiculous.
I think that's a very valid way of looking at it. I want the next person, if I'm an LSU fan, I want the next person that's going to bring me a national title. I don't care if they're black, white, green, or purple, woman, man, whatever. If you can bring me a national title, that's what I want.
And perhaps I'm naive, but at this stage of the game where there's so much money in sports, I very seriously doubt that the best programs in the country or on down are saying, well, we're just not gonna hire a black head coach because we're racist. They wanted success, period. That's it. It doesn't matter who comes in.
Well, and it comes back to this too. There's too much money. I mean, green's the only real color that matters. And when you win, the green flows, my friend. And just think about how LSU was basically. I mean, they are a national brand, but man, they were over the top in 2019. People were talking about that's the best team ever, and all of that. And that comes from winning. Winning brings money, and money is what matters.
Yeah, ask Florida. Not that this one case backs up me completely. I understand that, but ask Florida State how that worked out. Florida State hired Willie Taggart purely on the basis of his race. How did that work out?
I don't know if they hired him completely on the basis of his race. It's not like they came out and had a statement. And did they actually say that? I don't remember that.
They made a statement that they were. What do you? And so people, what's that?
I said, I don't remember that. I mean, I'm not arguing with you that they didn't. I just don't remember that. I don't remember the big press release.
They were hiring a minority
we
candidate.
hired
Period.
a black guy. I don't remember that. You may be right. Though.
No, I didn't say that. What I said was they came out and said that they were hiring a minority candidate. Period.
That's sad.
That's what they said.
That way.
And then they hired Willie Taggart, who, when you look at his credentials, what was he? 8-4 at or 7-5 at Oregon for 1 year.
Yeah, he did pretty good at South Florida, I think it was. Was that where he was before?
Yeah, he had one good year there where he won like 10 or 11 games.
Right.
And that bounced him to Oregon. Then he was at Oregon, did average, and then 1 year later he's hired at Florida State. At some point in the future, I have a funny story about him. I ran into him, and I'll tell you about it, but not on this call.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, I want that narrative though to end, because that's not fixing the problem. I believe everybody should have the right opportunity, as everyone else does, but we shouldn't blame.
I don't care. It's all about winning.
We're going to hire a race.
Yeah,
I mean, that doesn't make sense.
It's all about winning. That's the way that it should be. Can you win me a national title? That's what it should be about. So
sure.
All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you calling the program. Thank you, buddy.
Yep. Talk to you later.
All right, there you go. Of course, some folks upset by what we're talking about over here. That's fine. Uncle Lou says white folks had no problem with race based on hiring for 400 years. Now they hate it. I don't think that's what we're talking about, Uncle Lou. It's all about winning, man. Got to win. Got to win. It shouldn't be a factor in that period. 803-978-1832. We'll take a quick break. We come back, and I've got a story I've got to share with you about man, there's somebody that wants to change the name of the bullpen. We'll get into that. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment. This is the rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. Oh, well, I try. I guess if we've waited this long. Uncle Lou, you razzed me about wearing tank tops when I do the podcast. You should send me an Uncle Lou tank top. I'll wear it. Give me an Uncle Lou tank top. Seriously. You're Uncle Lou. You can do all things, right? Have at it. I'll wear an Uncle Lou tank top. Welcome back to the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Full phone lines. Let's go out to the phones. Welcome into the program. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment on the Willie Taggart situation.
Yeah.
I went to college at Western Kentucky University for a while, and I kind of followed Willie Taggart. Now, he wasn't the greatest coach, but he did pretty good in the smaller schools, really.
Mm-hmm.
But it was my understanding he got hired on at Florida State because Bobby Bowden gave him a high recommendation.
Yeah,
and
I don't know the whole gist of the inside of that, but I do know, and I'll tell you how I know this. I interviewed Gene Deckerhoff from FSU's play-by-play guy at ACC Kickoff, and he did tell me that Bobby Bowden was on the train down there for Willie Taggart. Actually went to practice and everything else. So I do know that because I don't think Gene Deckerhoff would lie to me. So there you go with that.
No, and I honestly don't think race really was the motivating factor of hiring Willie Taggart. I think he was young and he had just had a good year, and they wanted to put him in there because after talking to Willie Taggart, they liked, what they got. But I don't think race is a factor. But I'll get off here and enjoy your show.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. Let's go back out to the phones. Another call here. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Megan.
Mm-hmm.
Big and Megan he is scared.
What's he scared of?
What's going to happen when Florida go up there and upset Georgia?
Well, we already determined that he'll have $100 for the $100 that he bet.
No,
that's the absolute truth. He'll have $100.
Him and a whole bunch of more Georgia Bulldog fans going to be upset.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. He'll be upset.
They're going to be upset, and I can't wait because that's what's going to happen.
You think so?
That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Yep, I truly think so. That big man, I love him. Great guy.
Fair enough, man.
All right.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. All right. Hollywood making his call here. There you go with that. Well, my final thing I'm going to share with you today is I saw this earlier and I had to go and check and make sure that it was real. The fine folks at PETA are at it again. What are they doing? They want to call the bullpen in baseball. They say that's outdated. The term bullpen is outdated, and they want to rename the bullpen the arm barn. Arm barn. Really, PETA? Really? Look, everybody should be, PETA's the people for the ethical treatment of animals, and I'm all about taking care of your animals. Got 2 dogs, 3 cats. Used to have what are they called? Guinea pigs, all of that. Okay. So I'm on board with taking care of your animals. I understand that. But you're telling me that you, as an animal rights organization, you want to rename the bullpen in baseball to the arm barn. Holy crap. This is why nobody takes you seriously. This is why I want to have a remote for this show at the next PETA event that comes to town. But I want it to be right across the street from them, and I want it to be an old-fashioned pig picking. You know why? Because I have zero respect for what PETA does. We'll have a nice pig picking there, and we'll invite them over to have some nice, fresh barbecue pig. I want a full pig where you got to come and pick the pig and all of that right in front of them. What a mess. 803-978-1832. Stop screwing with the game of baseball. And by the way, they're doing this because the World Series is one of the more trending topics in the world right now. America's team, the Atlanta Braves, plays tomorrow night. So there's that. Got popped a little bit last night. They're going to get themselves right. But they're doing it because they're trying to shine more of a spotlight on their organization. They should probably clean up some of the things that they do first. Just saying. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. We will refer to it as the bullpen. By the way, someone actually tweeted out that the commissioner of baseball, Rob Manfield, will be probably listening and want people to refer to it as that. I'm not going to stand for that. It is the bullpen. No one cares and I don't think about animals when it comes to that. What a mess, PETA. What a mess. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, around the world on the iHeart Radio app. Lawton Swan joins us. Actually, he takes over for me here shortly, but I wanted to, there's an advance, they do the whole thing with like the computer generated model of what's going to happen with Clemson and Florida State. The computer prediction has Clemson winning 24-17. I laughed openly when I read that. I laughed. You know why? Because Clemson hasn't scored 17 points against an FBS team. What idiot computer is going to say, you know what, this is going to be the week that they do it? Until they score more than 17 points, how can your computer put into a theory that they're going to do that? I don't know. I don't know how that works out. They haven't scored 17 points in a game against an FBS team, but they're going to score 24 against FSU. Now, look, I have no problem being put into a point where I have to say, you know what? I was wrong about that. Unlike some folks, I can moonwalk. I don't have a problem with it. You're not always going to be correct, especially when, you put your opinions out there. But until Clemson shows me, hey, I can score 17 points or more, I can score more than 17 points, it's going to be hard for me to see that. I'll give you one of my picks for tomorrow. We do our picks on every Friday. My pick tomorrow is Florida State -10. Can Clemson win the game? Absolutely. Absolutely. But are they going to win by 10? I don't think so. Unless they're going to shut Florida State out. I have zero confidence in the Clemson offense. And it's not me ripping them. It's just that they haven't given me a reason to believe in what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball. I feel the same way about South Carolina. I feel very confident about what they're doing on offense either. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call. Mr. Faircloth says, when I hear bullpen, I think pitcher. Yeah, I don't think about a bunch of bulls in a pen. I just think, my starter sucks, and I've got to have a reliever. And I'm hoping it's not Luke Jackson for the Braves because it seems like he blows a ton of games, even though he played well in game one. Or Smiley last night. Smiley was not making me smile last night. 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on The Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, around the world on the iHeart Radio app. A podcast for the show. We've had a record number of podcast downloads. These during, from week to week and month to month. It's been a pretty big showing there for the podcast. If you missed some of the show, that's fine. You go and download the podcast. Listen whenever you want. Pretty simple, right? So go and check out the podcast. We appreciate that. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. They're talking about Sammy Sosa in the chat room. Basically, yeah, Sammy Sosa looks like his skin has turned almost translucent now. I don't know what's happened to Sammy Sosa. He hasn't gotten out in the sun, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, they're right about that. Sammy Sosa has definitely, maybe being on the baseball field made his skin look darker than it actually is. I don't know. 803-978-1832 as we get set to wrap the show today. Remember, tomorrow, picks against the spread. And it's an off weekend for South Carolina. Hey, I get to go and hang out with the kids this weekend. Let's take a phone call. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Yes, I was on earlier. It sounds like, yeah, but
hey, I want to make sure I've only got about 30 seconds, okay, before I go to the end of the show, but go ahead.
All right. I think you're missing the point. I think they're interpreting it when there's a ladies playing, that they're interpreting it as a bullseye is in the pen.
No, I don't think that's what it's all about. Bulls.
Well, it could be. It could be. I mean, it could be, something to do with, girls and boys, or
no, I think
women and men.
It has to do with the fact that they're that they're talking about the bulls that actually
Okay.
have to be strung up and for slaughter is what they're going after.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, but maybe Peter has a few young ladies working there too,
Well, we'll
and
figure that out.
and
Man.
they don't want a bullpen in a girls' game.
All right, man. Hey, I gotta go. I appreciate you calling, Bill. Thanks for calling the rundown. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Lawton Swan is next. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. All right, appreciate you guys, man. We'll see you later on. I didn't know it was him calling back. I couldn't see my caller ID over there. I just ended the show. Calm down.